Across the Atlantic, two worlds connected by history, culture, and resilience. The bond between Africa and the Caribbean runs deep, unseen yet undeniable. Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In case you are new here, my name is Claudia Walks. If you are watching this video and you have not subscribed, please do so. It's free. And if it's your first time to come across this YouTube channel, kindly consider subscribing. And on today's video, we are going to talk about a powerful connection that exists between Africa and the Caribbean, a relationship that stretches back centuries and continues to influence both the regions today. And so, the African diaspora in the Caribbean is more than just a story of migration. It's about the survival, the culture, and the blending of the two worlds. So, let's start with the history. During the transatlantic slave trade, millions of Africans were taken from their homes, forcibly relocated, and sold as slaves in the Caribbean. This dark chapter lasted for over 400 years and saw the separation of families, cultures, and identities. But one thing, the African spirit could not be crushed. Despite the brutal condition of slavery, Africans carried with them their traditions, their languages, their religion, and also their stories. And in the Caribbean, these traditions would take root and evolved, creating vibrant new cultures. The Caribbean culture diversity is a direct reflection of Africa's influence. From the food we eat, the music we dance to the languages we speak, African heritage is woven in the fabric of Caribbean life. So take a look at the food. Many Caribbean dishes like jerk chicken, rice and peas have their roots in African culinary traditions. You can trace the ingredients like the cassava, the yams from Africa to the Caribbean kitchen. And not forgetting the music. Music is another powerful link. African rhythms have merged with Caribbean sounds, creating iconic genre like reggae, calypso, and soca. It's a celebration of life and resistance. And with artists like Bob Marley and Fela Kuti carrying the touch of this cultural fusion. The Caribbean also reflects African in its languages and religious practices. While many Caribbean nations speak English, Spanish, or French, there is still a strong presence of African languages in every speech, especially in the use of Creole and Patois. So these Creole languages, blending European and colonial languages with African tongues, preserve the linguistic legacy of enslaved Africans who found ways to communicate and hold on to their identities. Religion too carries the African influence, from the Yoruba traditions to the evolved into Santeria in Cuba to Haitian voodoo. African spiritual practices have not only survived but thrived in the Caribbean. But the connection between Africa and the Caribbean is not just a relic of the past. It's something that continues to shape the present. Over years, there's been a growing movement to reconnect with African heritage that was lost during the slavery era. And from the Caribbean to Africa, there is a growing dialogue with the events and initiatives aimed at strengthening these ties. Many Caribbean nations are now looking to Africa for trade, for investment, and cultural exchanges. Whether it's through the African Union, the African Caribbean Trade Agreements, or cultural exchanges, both regions are starting to understand that the strength of their bond can help build a better future. So my question is, what does this connection mean to us? It means that we have a shared history, a shared identity, and a shared future. Africa and the Caribbean are bound by more than just the past. They are bound by a spirit of resilience and hope. Together, we can celebrate this bond, learn from each other, and continue to build a future that honors our shared heritage. So, one thing that continues to unite Africans and Caribbeans is the shared struggle for freedom, independence, and equality. The legacy of colonialism and the fight for liberation have shaped both regions in profound ways. In the Caribbean, we saw revolutions like Haiti's, the first black nation to gain independence from colonial rule. This victory echoed across the globe, inspiring liberation movement in Africa, where countries like Ghana, Kenya, and Nigeria broke free from colonial rule in the mid-20th century. And these struggles were not just about the political freedom. They were about reclaiming identity, the culture, and the pride. The courage of leaders like Marcus Garvey, Kwame Nkrumah, and others helped define what it means to be free, African, and Caribbean. Even today, we see these struggles reflected in the fight for racial equality, social justice, and economic empowerment. Movements like Black Lives Matter resonate not only in the USA, but in the Caribbean and Africa, as people continue to fight against systemic oppression. And another key aspect of the Africa-Caribbean connection is the ongoing movement of people between the two regions. Over years, we have seen a growing migration of Africans to the Caribbean and vice versa. And today, many Africans move to Caribbean countries seeking new opportunities, while Caribbean people are returning to Africa, exploring their ancestral roots. And this exchange has led to a rich blending of ideas, traditions, and experiences. And not forgetting the impact of art, film, and literature in bridging the gap between Africa and the Caribbean. Writers, filmmakers, and artists from both regions have been using their platform to tell stories of their shared heritage. Think of writers like Jamaican Claude and Nigerian Chinua Achebe, who explored themes of identity, colonialism, and race in their works. Or films like The Other They Come and the Sankofa, that showcase the strength and the resilience of African and the Caribbean people. So art exhibitions showcasing works from both regions often highlights a common experiences, using the canvas to express the pain of displacement, the joy of liberation, and the celebration of Black identity. So this art continues to serve as a bridge, a way for Africans and Caribbean people to connect, to share stories, and to inspire each other. So, what does the future hold for the connection between Africa and the Caribbean? It's an exciting time, with both regions poised for greater collaboration and unity. And on a political level, organizations like the African Union and the CARICOM are exploring ways to strengthen the diplomatic ties. And initiatives like the African Continental Free Trade Area, that is AFC FTA, and the Caribbean Community aim to boost trade and create economic opportunities across the regions. And so, in the world of business and technology, Africa and Caribbean entrepreneurs are building bridges through innovation. Young people in both regions are using tech, fashion, and social media to collaborate and create a new narrative, one of unity and progress. We are seeing a rise in tourism, where people from both regions are visiting each other's countries, reconnecting with their shared histories and contributing to local economies. And so the connection between Africans and the Caribbean is one that continues to evolve, fueled by a common past and a shared vision for the future. As both regions move forward, the bond will only grow stronger, built on culture, collaboration, and a deep understanding of where we come from and where we are headed. So, thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content exploring the deep connection across the African diaspora. What excites you most about the future of Africa and the Caribbean? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, stay connected, stay inspired. Thank you.